we're going to do a ratio question to start with today, and then we're going to do a few exam questions on the kind of things that we've been doing recently. So, first of all, we want to share out £12,330 in the ratio 2 to 3 to 5. So, when you've got to share in a ratio, I would suggest you write down the ratio. I'm leaving space because obviously that's quite a big amount and we need space underneath those. So, our ratio is 2 to 3 to 5, and if we add those up, 2 add 3 add 5, that's 10. So we've got 10 shares altogether for the total. Okay, now if we need to share out £12,330, that's a total. So that would go in the same column as the 10. Okay, because our 10 shares are worth £12,330. Okay, so that must mean that one share is worth this amount divided by 10. So that's 1,233. So that means that the person with 2 shares gets double the 1,233. So that's 2,466. The person with 3 shares gets another £1,233 on top of what 2 shares gets. So that's going to be 3,699. And then the person who gets 5 shares gets 1,233 divided by 5, or the 2,466 add 3,699, because that's 2 shares and 3 shares. It doesn't matter how we work this out, but the answer is 6,165. If we want to check, we can do a double check to get it right by adding up 2,466, 3,699 and 6,165. And when we add all that up, we do see that we get 12,330. So that means that we're correct. So let's have a look at what we've been doing. All of those things. So long multiplication, then working with decimals, fractions and percentages, and positive and negative numbers. So now, these are just questions that I've copied from past exams. Okay, so these are actual National 5 questions. Okay, so remember how I've shown you to do these ones. I'm just going to get rid of that dot there because I don't think it's very helpful. There we go. Right, so 6 1/5, take away 2 1/3. So remember how I've shown you to do that is keep the whole numbers and make a common denominator for the fractions. So the common denominator for 5 and 3 we know is 15. So we've multiplied 5 by 3 to get 15. So we need to do 1 times 3. And then we've done 3 times 5 to get 15. So we need to do 1 times 5. And then we can go ahead. So we've got 6 take away 2 is 4. But 3 15ths take away 5 15ths is minus 2 15ths. And if you've got 4 whole ones and you take away 2 15ths, what you're left with is 3 whole ones and 13 15ths. You should always just check your answer at the end. Check that it won't simplify. And that's it done. Okay. So the next one, get rid of that dot again. Now, here we've got 2 steps. So we need to work out what's in the bracket first and then multiply by 3/4. Okay, so that's what we're going to start with. We'll do the 1/3, add 2 7ths. So common denominator here would be 21. And we've multiplied the 3 by 7 to get 21. So we need to multiply the 1 by 7. Then we've multiplied the 7 by 3, so we need to do the same with the 2. So altogether we've got 13 over 21 there. So now what we're working out is 3/4 times 13 over 21, because that 13 over 21 is what that's worth. So remember, we can cancel across the multiplication sign. We don't need to wait until we've done the multiplying to do that. And we can see that we've got the 3 and the 21 are both in the 3 times table. So on the top, we've got 1 times 13 is 13. And on the bottom, we've got 4 times 7 is 28. And that won't simplify, and it's not an improper fraction, so there's nothing else we can do with that. That would be the answer. So our next questions, just got these 3 to do. Evaluate this, so that means just work out. Okay, and again, I'm going to get rid of that dot, and I might as well get rid of this one whilst I'm at it as well down here. All right, so 1/5/6 divided by 3/4. So remember, we can't multiply or divide when we've got mixed numbers. That's too complicated. So we change 1/5/6 into an improper fraction. So remember, you do that times that, add that. So 6 ones are 6, add 5 is 11. And we're dividing by, don't know what happened there. We're dividing by 3/4. So remember, to divide by a fraction, you multiply the upside down version of the fraction. Okay, and if there's any simplifying that can be done, you can do it across your multiplication sign, and we can see that the 4 and the 6 are both in the 2 times table. So there's 2 of them on the top in 4 and 3 of them on the bottom in 6. So we've got 11 times 2 is 22. 3 3s are 9. So we've got 22 over 9. That fraction won't simplify, but we can write it as a mixed number. It doesn't tell us to, but it doesn't tell us not to. Okay, so there are 2 9s in 18. In 22, which is 18. So you've got 4 9s left over. So either of those 2 answers would be fine for that question. But if you hadn't done the simplifying here, you would have got 44 over 18. That wouldn't get you the marks for that question because it says it's got to be in its simplest form. So you would have to divide top and bottom by 2, and you'd still get your 22 over 9. But the 44 over 18's not enough. Okay, next one, another add-in. So 2 1/3 add 4/5. So we're going to keep the whole number, and then we're going to make a common denominator. So that's going to be 15. So 3 times 5 is 15. So 1 times 5 is 5. 5 times 3 is 15. 4 times 3 is 12. So altogether there, we've got 2 whole ones and 17 15ths. In other words, we've got 3 whole ones and 2 15ths. Because the 17 over 15, that's 1 whole one with 2 15ths left over. Okay, and is this the last one? I think it is just a sec. Yeah, it's the last one. So again, multiplying but involving a mixed number. So we keep our 3/8 as it is, and then we change the 1 5/7 to an improper fraction. So that'll give us 12 over 7. Then we look at seeing if we can cancel or simplify before we do any multiplying. So if we look, 12 and 8 are both in the 4 times table. So that's 3 and 2. There's nothing else there that'll cancel. So 3 times 3 is 9. 2 times 7 is 14. And that won't simplify, and it's not an improper fraction, so we don't have the opportunity to write it as a mixed number. So that's it done. Okay, so you can have a go at a few more practice questions, and we'll see you tomorrow.